Is it me, or is it the worst when a student misses an important lesson and you have to figure out how you're gonna catch them up? I would have students coming and going all the time. They were either absent, left early for sports, had therapy, they were pulled out early by their parent, or they were out for some school leadership thing. Either way, I had to find a way to teach them what they missed. And if they were out for 2 or more days, I was like, man, kid, you might as well just drop out of school. Obviously, I was kidding, but it was a headache trying to find time to catch them up, give them the assignment they missed, and then try to answer all their questions to fill in any gaps. Some weeks it was harder than others to find the time to sit down with them and go over the lesson and show them what they missed. And to be honest, I didn't want to give up my prep time or my lunchtime all the time. In this video, I want to share with you one strategy that will make it easier to help your students catch up when they're out. Welcome to the Teacher Revolution, where I give you tips and tricks to continue to grow as an educator. I'm Cindy, I'm a counselor and a teacher coach. And before I share one practice that you can use to help catch your students up when they miss your class, make sure to check out the description below for a link to my mini course, Online Teaching Bootcamp, where I cover how to lesson plan, how to boost student engagement, how to check for understanding effectively, and how to differentiate. One year, I had between half to a third of my class leave or miss my 6th period for athletics. It was like I had all the athletes in that one class. Teaching new lessons only on days they didn't have games wasn't feasible, and it wasn't fair to the rest of the class. Plus, I really hated when my classes didn't line up for lesson planning. I had to come up with a different plan because it became a lot of extra work to help these students catch up. Typically, what I would do is I would ask the PE teacher or their elective teacher if I could have the student during my prep time. And so during that time, I would do these mini lessons with them to try to help catch the student up. But I had students playing sports throughout the entire school year, and it wasn't going to work to continuously give up my prep time that I needed for grading papers and to lesson plan. The PE and elective teachers were super chill about me asking for students all the time, but I just didn't want to do that to them the whole entire school year. And I couldn't always rely on the student to show up after school to do the work with me. So after tons of frustration, this is a solution that worked for me. I started recording lessons from students to watch independently. I was doing this before distance learning happened, so I think if I would have shared this with more teachers back then, there might have been a lot more questions on how to record, or if it was even possible that students would watch the videos. But now that we're subjected to this kind of learning, I think that there's more buy-in to be able to do it. Having students watch a video of my lessons helped in different ways that I wasn't expecting. See, I thought that they would just watch the video and get the gist of what they missed, and then would come back to class and just not be completely lost. That maybe they wouldn't understand the material as well as the students who were in class, who were getting tons of feedback from me, but there were enough positive outcomes that came from the videos that encouraged me to continue doing them. Here are 4 things that stood out. Number 1, students who need extra review to see the material at a slower pace benefited a lot from the videos. They were able to rewatch the videos, pause when needed, so that they could process the information. And they were not as distracted by me continuously talking the whole time. Number 2, from my end, I found it easy to record a video and share it on my Google Drive that all students had access to. I didn't have to go looking for worksheets or for my notes to help a student who had missed class. The student can just simply go on the Google folder, find the date of the class that they missed, and then find the work and the lesson that they needed, all independently. Number 3, by having a video to reference, students share that family members were able to help them with their assignments because they watched the video with them and were able to understand the skill that they were learning. Sometimes The textbook makes no sense to adults who are trying to help. A quick video changes all of that. Number 4, the feedback that I received from parents and students was that it made it very convenient for them to be able to keep up with the class. At the time, I was teaching 8th grade math, and so it was very important to be able to keep up with each skill because each skill just builds upon the other. My high achieving students who were always very anxious about what they were going to miss in class, because for them, getting a high mark was very important. Well, they let me know that their anxiety was way down because they knew that when they got home, they were able to access and catch up whatever skill that they missed. So that information was always available to them, and that made them feel a lot better. Here are the 3 steps to providing videos to your students. Step 1, create a video. Either find a lesson that other educators have already created on YouTube, or you can create your own video using PowerPoint and recording your screen. You can always just record yourself on Zoom. You can also just use your phone and a piece of paper and record yourself talking and writing about the lesson for your students. Step 2, organize your videos. In your Google Drive, make a folder for your lessons. You can organize them by period or by subject or however you like. I found that putting the day of the week, not simply the date, helped my students navigate easier to find the video. Then they would simply click on the folder to find the video that I had saved inside. Sometimes I also included a homework assignment or a key question to think about, or even links to videos I wanted them to watch prior to the lesson that they were going to see the next day. Step 3, give students the link. It doesn't matter what platform you're using as long as you're able to provide your students with a link to your Google Drive. You don't need to have a link for each assignment, just a general link that says, something like click here if you missed class. The link then takes them to your Google Drive. Now the student would have to pick what date they missed and find it that way. I know what you're thinking. What about the students who are not proactive and won't bother watching these videos? For those students, I would still find a way to get them to my class during my prep period, at lunch, before school, or after school. But instead of me having to take the time to explain the lesson, I had them hop on a laptop and watch the lesson. I was still free to continue my own lesson planning, grading, or just a moment of silence so that I can think. You don't have to do this with every lesson. That would be way too much. Just the essential lessons or the foundational lessons that are vital to understanding the unit. Ready for a free one-on-one session with me to discuss strategies that you can incorporate to help avoid your students falling behind when they're absent, or anything you need advice on? Head over to my website at cindyrosa.com for some information. Remember to hit that like button if you've learned something from this video. I hope this idea inspired you to think outside the box and try a new strategy to free up your time and to help your students not fall behind. Leave any questions you have in the comments section and I'll make sure to get to you. Hope you found this information helpful and inspired you to try something new. Thanks for watching.